standby.
What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I'm going to be covering the best beginner classes that you can use, in my opinion, in Infinite Warfare. This is designed for the people that are just getting into the game and want a little bit more direction for their class setups. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's hop right into it. I'm going to be doing 3 classes for you guys, and this is going to be with an SMG, an LMG, and an assault rifle. Now the reason I'm only doing classes for these is this video is designed for the people that are just getting into the game, they're brand new, and these are the most versatile guns. You probably don't want to be picking up a sniper rifle for your very first few games of Infinite Warfare because you're probably going to struggle quite a bit. So I chose the versatile weapon classes. So the first thing we're going to look at is actually not the guns themselves, but your combat rig. Now the combat rigs are like the specialist from Black Ops 3, if you guys played Black Ops 3. You choose your rig, which is like a suit, and then from there they have a payload, which is going to be like your power weapon or your power ability, and then a trait, which is an added perk that is active all the time. For a beginner, there are 3 setups that I would recommend with this. You choose what appeals to you most. First off, you can choose Warfighter. With Warfighter, I would probably go with the Claw over the Combat Focus for a beginner player. Claw is like a power weapon that you just pull out, very easy to use, and it just destroys people. And then for the trait, you can choose either of these. So Ping is great. If you kill an enemy player, a little ripple will come out of them on the minimap, and any teammates, or any of their teammates that are standing next to them that aren't running Ghost will now show up on the minimap as long as they're just nearby them as you kill them. So that's a really helpful thing for people that are learning the maps. And then Persistence makes it so your score streaks don't reset on death, but it costs a lot more to earn them. So Persistence would be nice if you do want to play around with the score streaks a little bit because you have a much better chance of earning it, especially if you're somebody that's not confident on going like on big kill streaks. So Persistence could be a good choice as well. And then the final thing I'd recommend, I wouldn't necessarily recommend Synaptic. I feel like the best one here is going to be Merc with the Steel Dragon, as well as Infusion. The nice thing about Infusion is it helps you regenerate health faster. So if you take some damage, you can take cover, heal up really quick, and be back in the fight. I really, really like this particular trait, and this is actually probably, at this point, my favorite combat rig just because of this trait. So those are the 3 selections that I would go for a beginner player. Now let's move on to the actual class setups themselves. And keep in mind, these are designed for people that are like just getting into the game, like haven't hit level 5 yet, haven't even hit level 10 yet, like anywhere near there. And we're going to start off with this NV4 class here. Now keep in mind, with this, you will have to play a couple games with the NV4 to start unlocking attachments. The key attachment for this is Quick Draw, and that's actually the key attachment for most guns in this game. Extended Mags is like a nice bonus once you do get up to Extended Mags, and foregrip isn't really needed on the NV4, but I would highly recommend the NV4 over the other assault rifle, which is the R3K that you unlock at the beginning. R3K is just more difficult to use. It's a 3-round burst. You can be successful with it, but the NV4 is much more versatile. Now with this, I would recommend a Reflex, which you have by default, and then, like I said, play a couple games so you unlock Quick Draw, and then I pop Quick Draw on there. And then if you want a third attachment, if you have Extended Mags, throw it on there. If not, no big deal. For secondary, I would go with a launcher. The reason for this is UAV spam is going to be real, and you don't have Ghost. So anytime an enemy calls a UAV in, you're in big trouble because you're going to be showing up as a dot on the minimap, and people are just learning the maps right now. So as they're learning the maps, if you're popping up on the minimap, then you're in trouble because people are going to be chasing you like crazy. So use this to shoot down UAVs every time you hear an enemy UAV is called in, as long as you're safe, of course. So I would put the Spartan Launcher. For perks, you won't by default have dexterity or this perk 3 unlocked. Once you do that, I would highly recommend stacking up on 2 tier 1 perks. Until then, put on, like, I don't know, whatever you feel comfortable with, Cluster Grenade and Crypto or Cryo Mine. Exploding Drone I don't like too much, so I'd go with Cluster Grenade. Like, this is just by default what you have unlocked. For perks, I like Recon as far as your first 3 perks that you unlock. We don't have Dexterity yet if you're just getting into the game, but I do prefer Dexterity over Recon once you unlock it. But right when you get into the game, Recon would be an excellent choice. And then for this class, I like Hardline because I'm going to be hanging back a little bit with this class. Hardline allows you to get your score streaks a little bit easier. And then finally, Hardwired. And I'm actually going to be running Hardwired on all 3 of these classes, and the biggest reason for this is it counters the counter UAVs. When you're trying to learn the maps and get into the game for the first time, if someone calls a counter UAV in against you, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a really hard time learning the map. You're likely going to try to go through some doorways that don't exist, and it's going to be a little frustrating. So this is why I'm putting Hardwired on every one of these classes, and that's a pretty good class setup. Like I had it before though, once you start getting leveled up to the point where you can have 2 perks and you can have Dexterity, I would put this on. That happens within the first 10 levels, so it doesn't take too long to unlock all that stuff. And Dexterity is just really nice to have. It allows you to reload quickly and swap your weapons. Mainly it's the faster reload that really helps. So that's the NV4 class. That's the first kind of assault rifle class to use at mid to somewhat longer ranges. You don't want to be rushing around too much with that class because you will be outclassed by all of the SMGs up close. Next is going to be our rushing class, our SMG class. The nice thing with this is you can choose either the ERAD or the FHR, whichever you want based on your playstyle. FHR is better suited to people that are really aggressive and want to get right up close and personal because it has a higher fire rate and everything. Whereas the ERAD's better suited to that somewhat mid SMG range. It's not really the best right up close. But either way, you can choose either one of those, and you're still going to have a great SMG class. Both of those are really good choices. And again, I would recommend grinding one of them to unlock Quick Draw. It should only take a couple games, and then you should have Quick Draw ready to go, as well as Foregrip. I believe Foregrip's automatically unlocked, if I'm not mistaken. And in my opinion, you don't need a sight for the SMGs. Again, we're using that Spartan launcher just at the beginning here so we can shoot down UAVs because we don't have Ghost unlocked. Plasma Grenade, once you unlock it, I really do like the Plasma Grenades, but if you don't have it unlocked, then maybe like Cluster Grenade or something along those lines. And for this one, we have very similar perk setup, but I decided for this one, it's going to be more for objective play, getting up close and personal, so we want Blast Shield on there to protect ourselves from explosives, as well as Tac Resist. I've noticed a lot of people using Cryo Mines, and Tac Resist just makes it so they don't really do much to you. So you can run these two, and it'll just allow you to rush around the map a lot more effectively. Again, same story here. Once you can pop Dexterity on there as a second tier 1 perk, I would highly recommend doing that as well. And finally, the LMG class. The RAW, or the Raw LMG, I feel like it doesn't get enough credit at this point. I don't hear very many people talking about this, and this is one of the best guns in the game, in my opinion. It's going to be a 3-shot kill at pretty much any range unless you have a suppressor on it. And it's super, super accurate. It has almost no recoil. So I would recommend running this with a reflex. And again, grind for that quick draw. Quick draw is going to be very important because LMGs do aim down sight quite a bit slower. So it is very noticeable once you get quick draw in here. And once you do, you'll be much more competitive. So the first couple games playing with that until you get quick draw might suck a little bit, but just make sure you're pre-aiming things very well. And you're going to have a very solid LMG right there. Again, we're going to add that launcher on there until we unlock Ghost. Then we have Cryomine and Recon again. I like Recon when you have classes where you're hanging back more because you get to see more of the minimap. And when you're trying to learn these maps, it's really helpful to see a larger portion of the map. So you can see the different lanes and routes. Wow, I got those words mixed up. Lanes and routes. You can see them much better with Recon. Again, Dexterity is kind of nice. Not really needed for this, though, because you won't be reloading too often because it's got such a large magazine, and it's an energy weapon, so it automatically replenishes ammo in its magazine. If you just, like, sit and wait, it automatically replenishes, so that's kind of nice. Again, we're going to go with Hardline because this is a class that's more designed for hanging back and picking people off. You can still move around the map with it. You just don't want to be, like, super close quarters. And finally, like I said, Hardwired. Excellent for keeping those counter UAVs away from you, and you won't have to worry about those at all. And they also counter a bunch of other things, which is great too. So there we have it. Those are 3 classes to get you started when you first hop into Infinite Warfare. Like I said, a couple things you might have to play for a little bit to unlock, but it really won't be that long. It'll just be like a few games and stuff. You might need Quick Draw, you might need something like that, or you might need to unlock that Dexterity perk, but that doesn't take too long to unlock. And these are 3 classes that you'll just be set up very nicely in the game, and at least the class part won't be causing any problems for you. So I'd like to know in the comment section below, what is your favorite beginner class, something that you can unlock before like level 10 or level 15 for instance, in this game? I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.